Welcome back to Firepower. Imagine waiting all year for the perfect hunt. After hours of hiking, a massive buck finally steps into a narrow opening just over 200 yards away. You settle your crosshairs, squeeze the trigger, and watch the deer collapse. Then, almost unbelievably, it jumps back to its feet and disappears into the timber. 3 hours later, you're still following a fading blood trail that suddenly ends. You'll replay that moment for years, wondering what went wrong. Most hunters blame the bullet, the scope, or even the rifle. Very few stop to ask whether they chose the right cartridge in the first place. The internet rewards impressive numbers, but the woods reward good decisions. Today on Firepower, we're uncovering the truth behind America's most popular hunting cartridges and revealing why the best choice isn't the fastest, the newest, or the most powerful. It's the one that delivers when your only shot truly matters. Before we rank a single cartridge, we need to answer a question that most hunters never think to ask. The conversation usually begins with, which cartridge is the best? But that's the wrong question. The better question is, best for what? A cartridge that's perfect for a whitetail hunt in hardwood forests may be far from ideal for chasing moose through northern swamps or climbing steep mountain ridges after elk. Your hunting style, the terrain you face, the species you're pursuing, and the distances you realistically expect to shoot all matter far more than internet rankings or marketing claims. There is no universal answer because every hunt presents a different challenge. The smartest hunters don't build their hunts around a cartridge, choose a cartridge that fits the hunt. That's the difference between following trends and making informed decisions. One cartridge can never be perfect for every hunt because every hunt demands something different. Next, let's talk about one of the biggest reasons hunters end up with the wrong cartridge in the first place. Marketing. The firearms industry loves to advertise bigger numbers, higher velocity, more muzzle energy, sleeker bullets with higher ballistic coefficients, and the latest Magnum cartridge that promises to outperform everything that came before it. Those specifications certainly look impressive, but they don't guarantee success in the field. What hunters truly need is confidence in their equipment, the ability to make consistent shots under pressure, and enough recoil control to practice regularly without developing a flinch. Consider two hunters. One fires a .308 Winchester 1,000 times over the course of a year, building muscle memory and confidence. The other owns a powerful Magnum but only practices with 100 rounds because of recoil and ammunition cost. When opening day arrives, which hunter is more likely to make the shot that counts? In real hunting, experience and consistency almost always outperform raw horsepower. Practice beats horsepower every single time. Taking the number 5 spot is the .308 Winchester, a cartridge that earns its place not by chasing impressive numbers, but by inspiring confidence when the moment of truth arrives. Its manageable recoil allows hunters to practice more often, build consistent shooting habits, and make accurate follow-up shots when the first one isn't enough. Ammunition is widely available, reasonably priced, and offered in a broad selection of hunting loads, making it one of the easiest cartridges to own and train with. For white-tailed deer, black bear, and even elk at realistic hunting distances, the .308 has proven itself time and time again. Its biggest compromise appears only when shots begin stretching well beyond typical hunting ranges, where other cartridges retain velocity and energy more effectively. But most hunts never reach those distances. In the real world, confidence under pressure often matters more than chasing extra ballistic performance. Confidence kills more deer than velocity, and that's exactly why the .308 Winchester continues to earn the trust of generations of hunters. Coming in at number 4 is the .270 Winchester, a cartridge that has earned its reputation by delivering speed with purpose rather than power for its own sake. In open country, where longer shots and changing wind conditions are common, its flat trajectory gives hunters greater confidence without requiring constant elevation adjustments. Legendary outdoor writer Jack O'Connor helped make the .270 famous, but its continued success comes from performance, not nostalgia. Modern hunting bullets have only expanded its capabilities, allowing it to compete surprisingly well with newer cartridges like the 6.5 Creedmoor at realistic hunting distances. However, every cartridge has its limits. When the game becomes significantly larger or penetration through heavy bone is the priority, the .270 begins to give up ground to heavier calibers. Its strength lies in efficiency, not brute force. The lesson is simple: speed solves some problems, but it doesn't solve every problem. Choosing the right cartridge is always about matching performance to the hunt, not chasing the highest numbers. Taking the number 3 spot is the 7mm Remington Magnum, a cartridge that perfectly illustrates what we might call the performance paradox. Instead of asking how capable it is, the better question is how much of that capability the average hunter actually uses. Many shooters are drawn to its impressive ballistics, yet most North American game is harvested at ordinary hunting distances, where that extra performance often goes untapped. The trade-offs, however, are always present. Sharper recoil can discourage practice, premium ammunition costs more, and the increased velocity typically shortens barrel life compared to standard cartridges. None of these drawbacks make the 7mm Remington Magnum a poor choice. They simply mean its advantages come with responsibilities. A cartridge only reaches its full potential when the hunter is willing to train with it consistently. Otherwise, impressive performance exists only on paper. Owning more capability doesn't mean you'll ever use it, and that's a lesson every hunter should remember before making their next purchase. At number 2 is the .300 Winchester Magnum, a cartridge that commands respect wherever large game is hunted. Whether you're pursuing elk in rugged mountains, moose in northern forests, or big bears in demanding conditions, the .300 Win Mag delivers unquestionable authority and excellent terminal performance. When everything goes right, it is an incredibly capable hunting cartridge, but that power comes with costs many hunters underestimate. Heavy recoil can slow follow-up shots and gradually create a flinch if practice is limited. Its tremendous energy can also cause unnecessary meat damage at closer ranges with the wrong bullet choice, while premium ammunition and increased powder consumption make regular training more expensive. These trade-offs don't diminish its effectiveness, they simply demand greater commitment from the shooter. A powerful cartridge is only as good as the hunter behind it. Sometimes the hardest cartridge to master is also the easiest one to admire, and that's exactly why the .300 Winchester Magnum stops just short of the top spot. Taking the number 1 spot is the .3006 Springfield, not because it dominates any single category, but because it consistently performs near the top in almost every category that matters. With factory loads ranging from lightweight 125 grain bullets to hard-hitting 220 grain options, it can be tailored for everything from white-tailed deer to elk, moose, black bear, and nearly every other North American game animal. Few cartridges offer this level of versatility while remaining so widely available and reasonably affordable. Hunters can find ammunition almost anywhere, choose from countless bullet designs, and rely on decades of proven performance without paying a premium. It isn't the flattest shooting cartridge, the hardest hitting Magnum, or the newest design on the market. Instead, it succeeds because it asks so few compromises from the hunter. It never became the most exciting cartridge. It simply never stopped working. And that's why it remains the benchmark against which so many others are still measured today. Before you decide which cartridge belongs in your rifle, remember that ballistic tables tell only part of the story. They can measure velocity, energy, trajectory, and wind drift with remarkable precision, but they can never account for the human side of hunting. No chart can predict the surge of adrenaline when a trophy animal finally appears, the fatigue after hiking for miles through rough terrain, or the numb hands that come with freezing temperatures. They cannot measure awkward shooting positions, animals that refuse to stand still, or the pressure of making a fast and accurate follow-up shot when everything happens in seconds. Those are the moments that determine success far more often than a few extra feet per second of muzzle velocity. Real hunting is not a laboratory experiment where every variable stays constant. It is an unpredictable test of judgment, preparation, and composure. In the end, hunting is a human challenge, not a mathematical equation. Now that we've examined the strengths and weaknesses of each cartridge, the real question becomes much simpler. How do you choose the right one? The answer is to build your rifle around the hunt, not the other way around. If your season is focused on white-tailed deer in typical woodland conditions, the 308 Winchester offers dependable performance with manageable recoil. If you spend your time in wide-open country where flatter trajectories can be an advantage, the 270 Winchester is an excellent fit. For hunters who pursue a variety of game across different terrains, the .3006 Springfield remains one of the most balanced and adaptable choices ever made. When consistently hunting large animals such as elk, moose, or bear, the added authority of the .300 Winchester Magnum may justify its extra recoil and cost. But if you want one rifle capable of handling almost every realistic hunting situation, the .3006 Springfield continues to stand above the rest because it asks so few compromises. The smartest hunters don't start with a cartridge, start with a mission, then choose the tool that best accomplishes it. Mission first, cartridge second. As we wrap up this ranking, it's worth pointing out the mistakes that lead many hunters to disappointment long before opening day. Too often, people buy recoil instead of shootability, velocity instead of consistency, and marketing hype instead of real-world performance. They spend thousands on equipment but very little time building confidence behind the trigger. The truth is, no cartridge can replace regular practice, sound judgment, or field experience when the pressure is on. A well-practiced hunter with a balanced cartridge will almost always outperform someone relying on raw power alone. Before chasing bigger numbers, ask yourself whether you're investing in better hunting or simply buying more cartridge than you truly need. Hunters rarely regret having too much skill, but they often regret buying too much cartridge. As this ranking comes to an end, the most important lesson has very little to do with ballistics and everything to do with decision making. The perfect hunting cartridge simply doesn't exist because no single cartridge can be ideal for every animal, every landscape, and every hunter. What does exist is the opportunity to become a better hunter with every season, every practice session, and every lesson learned in the field. Technology will continue to evolve, manufacturers will keep introducing new cartridges, and marketing will always promise the next breakthrough. But the animals you hunt haven't changed, and neither have the fundamentals of ethical hunting. Sound judgment, careful shot placement, and confidence in your equipment will always matter more than chasing the latest trend. In the end, good judgment never becomes obsolete, and that's the one advantage no new cartridge can ever replace. That wraps up today's ranking, but now it's your turn to join the discussion. If you could hunt every North American game animal with just one cartridge for the rest of your life, which one would you choose? And more importantly, what real experience convinced you it was the right choice? Share your story in the comments so other hunters can learn from real time in the field, not just internet opinions. If you enjoyed this analysis, leave a like to support experience-driven hunting content and subscribe to Firepower for honest, practical firearm and hunting insights. Next week, we'll uncover 5 hunting cartridges that are quietly disappearing from the market and explain why some of them may deserve a second chance before they're gone for good.